Raphaël Pirot from Agence QME. What do you think about the fact that the front runner is not participating in this debate?
Again, I'm not going to speak for other candidates. Look, I think it's important to appreciate that, as Rob Batherson said, 150,000 ballots have already arrived at party headquarters. Can assume that there are a good number of ballots that are already in the mail. And so I understand valid concerns with respect to whether each ballot is actually equally weighed, given that some people are unable to form an opinion on the basis of this debate subsequent to their ballot already being mailed. So I certainly think that I guess I'll leave it at that.
Are you scared of attacking him because he's the front runner?
If there's anything I've demonstrated over the last couple of years is that I'm not worried about politics, I'm worried about Canadians. And I respect all of my friends in the race. What I will say, however, is I do agree with some of my friends that I wish the process was somewhat better.
Boris Pro from Le Devoir, you mentioned a few times your opposition to COVID mandates. What's the pertinence of that, knowing that most mandates are gone now?
Well, I don't agree with that. I still have former constituents that are unable to visit loved ones in a long-term care home. We still have hospitals that do not allow family members to visit. We still have 15 to 20% of Canadians that are forced to be detained under threat of jail whenever they enter and exit Canada. We also have workers losing their jobs. I should mention this. I got a message from a Hamilton firefighter who's telling me that he's about to lose his job and that City Council in Hamilton is about to vote on mandates for city workers. And I implore Andrea Horwath, who I understand is now running for mayor of the city of Hamilton, to speak out against the mandates, to reject the mandates. Her party was defeated over her approach to COVID response, in my view, and she needs to stand up for Hamilton workers and all workers. And as Prime Minister, one of the first things I'll do is I will ban all passports and mandates, but I will go a step further. I will freeze funding to any province that permits them, either in its private sector or in its provincially regulated industry, like colleges or hospitals or universities. I think that this is a shameful episode in Canadian history. We know that the passports do not stop the spread. They do not arrest the spread of COVID. And it's time that we stop segregating 15 to 20% of Canadians.
Would you accept the tag of being the anti-mandates candidate, or perhaps...
I'm the choice candidate. And look, we still believe that it's still a choice. I made the choice that most Canadians made. But we've never forced anyone to do anything against their will. And COVID is no reason to start, sir.
Sir, William Diaz here with the Rebel News. Quick question for myself. Do you regard China as an ally or an enemy or a competitor?
I think we have to be very clear on China. And we should not be afraid as conservatives, and I certainly will never be afraid to articulate what I believe. China is locking down tens of millions of healthy people. It's putting ankle bracelets on people. China is engaging in segregation. It's sending Muslim Uyghurs to camps. It's something that the international community is silent about. If we say never again, then it should really be never again. China is stealing our intellectual property. They have attacked and usurped democracy in Hong Kong. They're now eyeing Taiwan. They're destabilizing the world. They're working closely with Iran. And I think that it's time for the international community to gather some courage and call out China on its malfeasance against human rights internally and in the world at large.
Yeah, second question from you, last one. Alberta has some of the most ethical oil on earth, both in terms of human rights and environmental concerns. Why are conservative leadership candidates tiptoeing and apologizing around WEF climate language like net zero, instead of doing the best thing that we could do here in Canada for the environment and sell our oil to foreign countries around the world? Venezuela and Iran aren't playing these games themselves.
Well, you certainly don't get any tiptoeing with me when it comes to what I believe is a very misguided net zero carbon policy. On the contrary, I believe that Canada's natural resources are a blessing, and I'm not going to let oil and gas be cancelled. And our natural resources are good not just for our strategic interest and our economic bottom line, they're great for the planet, because Canadians can derive energy cleaner and safer than any other nation on earth. So I'm going to free Canadian oil and gas. I've been to Alberta 3 times since this leadership race began. I have a very robust Western Canada policy, and it's not just great for Western Canada. I believe that the only way that we're going to get out of the fiscal hole that the Liberals are going to leave us in is to unleash the economic potential of our country, and I'm going to do that by turning Canada into a natural resources superpower. Thank you very much.